What's good, guys? Another episode of the Gold-Blooded podcast, episode 5. Um, it's been a okay week. You know what I'm saying? A pretty solid week. You know what I'm saying? I'm KB. I'm doing well. How my guys doing, bro? Denver, gift to how y'all doing, man?
Solid, solid. We got a couple things to recap from the day before. Shout out to everyone that pulled up on us for like a 7-hour stream. Jesus Christ, that was long. But we're here today to do the pod. So I'm excited to recap some things.
You know, for the first time ever in Gold-Blooded podcast history, I think it's the first ever clip that's ever been clipped on this podcast before. Because I don't
Is
usually
that a
clip
clip?
things. That is most definitely a clip.
Why is everything I do a clip? I just said it was a long stream.
No, you said it was a 7-hour stream. Thank y'all for tuning in. And then you said, Jesus Christ, it was long.
Yes, Jesus Christ, it was long. That's not crazy, you know.
That's what I'm saying. So like, yeah. I'm glad you're doing good, bro. Deborah, how we looking, man? How we feeling, bro?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Still got
That's a fact.
the acid reflux and the indigestion and the stuff, but pretty good.
I feel you on that.
That's good, bro. I heard milk helps. I don't know if that's milk does help with acid reflux, I'm pretty sure. So drink a lot of dairy, you feel me?
Oh, that milk.
Yeah, you know
What?
Huh?
What other milk did you think I? You know what? Let's just get. I'll just move past that. Huh?
It's about Ionescu.
What's our first topic?
Yeah. Why are we all over the place to start with?
Yeah, our first topic should probably be recapping the week. Since the last podcast, I think
it will be recapping the week. It's a very short week, to be honest with you. Honestly, I'm actually kind of mad that we didn't do the pod yesterday. I didn't want to. We're gonna have to talk about this game, but I don't have to talk about it next week. You feel me? When I'm less angry. But yeah, so chat. We went 2-1 this week. Our 3 games were the Lakers, the Hornets, and the Nuggets. And our first game back from the All-Star break was the Los Angeles Lakers, which we actually won pretty comfortably. To recap that game in of itself was pretty solid. Steph got out to an extremely hot start. I remember he scored 16 of like the first 24 points for the Golden State Warriors. He was scorching hot to begin with. And it was just a really good stream in general, actually, as well, too. We had our biggest view count for that particular stream. Obviously, we did a collab with the with Legend of Winning, Low, and it was a really good stream. But from the game perspective itself, it was actually really solid in terms of how everybody played. I thought everybody came to play that game. Defensively, everyone executed pretty well. Obviously, guarding AD for 1 through 4 is going to be very difficult. He got his, but primarily everyone else was shut out. I think the most important thing for that game in particular, outside of Steph's scorching start, was TJD getting run in that second stint in the second quarter to kind of allow the Warriors to get out and get that momentum before they ended the half. Because the defense really started to kick in towards the back end of that second quarter, and then it carried on through the third and fourth. So I think it was a pretty comfortable win. And yeah, it was a really good start to the week for us. So Gifted, Denver, what are your thoughts on that Laker game?
I thought it was a great game, man. I had dreams about it while I wasn't watching it. After I was able to come back and watch the game back, I liked the plays where they were giving Kuminga the ball to help organize the offense. I mean, that game in particular just showed you the Clay and Trace chemistry being a real thing. Like, Trace scored so easily in that matchup, and it just continued to show, hey, look, this guy, when he gets, the bump, can actually be pretty productive for the Warriors with his help side, rim protection, shot blocking, and just him being an actual presence at the rim with, his rim spacing, which is the thing. But we also said that, hey, this is cool, but the consistency of his minutes and where they fall is going to be the question. We beat the Lakers, yes. Unfortunately, LeBron did not suit up and they weren't healthy, but ultimately every game matters, so you take what you can. But I thought that maybe this would be a trend of Trace's minutes going up, but we got to see it, man. Because of last night's game, obviously, wasn't really consistent with his minutes, even though, once again, as Denver said yesterday, when Trace comes in, it's instant impact. He gets a block or a steal or a big rebound, or he alters shots in a way to where it makes the team better. We got some questions on that.
And especially in that game, because he literally came in and they started running Steph Curry and Trace Jackson Davis pick and rolls, and he was getting rim runs every single time. That's how he ended up with, I think, 13 points in 5 minutes. So
yeah,
there was that. And then also just his impact on the other end. As I say every single time, the second he comes in, it's like a very clear difference in rim protection.
Yeah. I can't agree even. I can't agree even more. What's good, Taha, bro? How you doing? This game in particular, his impact was definitely felt. I say this every time that we play games. The more you play him, the more he's in rotation, the more he gets to play with guys, the better the result is. And I just feel like from a night in and night out standpoint, he's had way more positive indicators than negative indicators to begin with. And I just think that moving forward, he's gonna have to see a lot more minutes than guys like Sarge. Him and Sarge got the same amount of minutes this game. I don't think Sarge was horrible for this game. He just had been on a really bad stretch in terms of his shooting. Everything else primarily has been there for him, but it's just what we needed him most for was that obviously that spacing, which he still provides, but just being able to knock down his shots, which he hasn't been doing. So I think he'll pick it back up. A lot of Warriors fans in the Warriors community is like really adamant on Dario Sarge being sat out so guys like Moses Moody and TJD can come in. And I can understand where they're coming from in terms of, yeah, he's not playing well right now, so go next man up type of thing. But what he's done throughout the majority of this season, being one of your more consistent bench guys, I think it's fair to kind of give him a little bit, just a little bit of leeway in terms of like wanting him to get back into where he was just a few months ago prior. So, but that doesn't change the fact that I do want to see TJD more. I'm glad in this particular game he got a lot more run than someone like Looney, who to me has just not been reliable like that this season at all.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you, at this point, anything. I don't know what I can rely upon except for him just being available night in and night out. So it's been obviously that was a really good game. I really want to get to the other game as well moving forward because this game in particular was an
about the game that took place in 2001.
It might have been 04 actually. I'm not gonna lie because it was definitely some wicked hoops. The Golden State Warriors played the Charlotte Hornets in a win 84-97. Now, no, this is not a throwback game. This game did not happen 20 years ago. This was not. This was a game that happened in 2024, and the Golden State Warriors had, to be honest with you, one of their worst games of the season, but somehow ended up with a win because their opponent played even worse than them. I kid you not, this game was legitimately 20. I think I have the screenshot still. It was like the score was crazy. There was 4 minutes left in the second quarter, and it was like 23 to like 34 or something like that. I don't. It was something insane. And
man, that's real hoops.
Yeah, this is not real basketball. I'll be honest with you, Chad. I don't know how people actually enjoyed like mid 2000s basketball, like the dead ball era.
It's hard,
like,
man.
Maybe it's just not. This is a bad representation of what could have been the dead ball era. Because even in the dead ball era, I didn't remember this many turnovers, this many ill-advised plays. Like it was like two kids were like playing on the floor, and it was just creating a lot of mess. And just one created a lot more mess than the other. Like, and that would be the Charlotte Hornets, who, mind you, had a like legit. I'm being so serious when I say this, chat. One of the worst basketball games displayed from a team I've seen in my 21 years of living. It was actually like horrible from the Charlotte Hornets what they were doing, and I'd actually surprised that the Warriors won because what they did, if they did this, what they did in this game, any other night, like any other night to any other team, this is a blowout loss. But you played the Charlotte Hornets, so you skates by. So I'm not mad. but I'm still upset at the fact that this win was very very strange. So, what are you guys' thoughts on this game? I would like to know your thoughts on this one, Mike, because this one was Chad, it was 24-33.
To be honest,
Wicked, bro.
I don't really remember anything basketball related about this game. All I remember is what happened at the end.
Oh yeah, I do. That is true.
Because holy, that was. What did everybody have? Hold on.
I'm trying to look at the stats right now, like, and I genuinely, it doesn't look pretty at all. Like,
you don't want to see
Steph stinker. Wiggins was fine. B Pods was fine. Everyone else though was terrible. Kaminga bad. Draymond bad. Sarge bad. Looney been bad since October. Trace was okay. Trace was fine from what I remember in that game. He just did not convert offensively. He was still getting boards and denying shots at the basket. Klay Thompson was okay. I think he gave us Klay Thompson was actually the only one in this game who gave us a little bit of life and push, from what I remember, because he was actually the only one hitting his threes because Steph was just stinking it up. But yeah, this game, chat, was so bad that I to Denver's point, I legit remember us just talking about other things. I think there was other games going on at the time, and we were barely paying attention to the Warriors game. I'm not even gonna lie to you, because it was so bad. There was usually I have fun breaking down like what happened and the intricacies and everything like that, and the little details, but the bigger picture was just the main focus for this game, and the bigger picture was both teams sucked tremendously. So, Gifted, what do you think, bro?
I thought it was bad hoops. Real bad hoops. I remember in the first quarter, Charlotte had like 15, and like that was the final score in the first quarter. What made it bad is like Golden State could play solid defense, but there are so many times where Charlotte bailed them out with even worse turnovers and even worse shot selection. It felt like both teams were just completely in the mud, and Golden State was just outscoring them because of Charlotte's own turnovers. I think both teams combined for like 30 plus turnovers in the game. I liked the processing at times, but this game was just such an atrocious game to watch back and forth. The amount of Charlotte bricks in transition, the open threes from Cody, not Caleb Martin, it was very hard to watch, I must say. Steph was man, that was a stinker. And I'm tired of like people seeing Steph play bad and be like, oh, he's tired. It's the break. He had 32 versus the Lakers. He just didn't have a good game. That's fine. Kuminga also couldn't really get it going. Draymond missed many open layups. Again, no threes made in the second half of the game. That continues to haunt him outside of one made three. And it was just bad hoops. We were able to win. All the wins matter, so I'm thankful for that, but was not great hoops at all.
It was not.
That was like the only game where we literally refused to do a post game.
After.
Yeah, it was. Y'all don't understand, bro. It was so bad. Like, I said to myself, like, nah. I think that was the day where you guys wanted to stay and watch the ending of those other games. And I was so appalled by what I just watched that I did not want to stay. My brain was like fried. I was like, nah, I can't do this. I need to wind down, bro, because what I just watched, it doesn't, like, I need to take a break from, kind of thing. So yeah, this game was definitely not something to talk about at all. Now, to Denver's point, there was a few things to talk about in this game in terms of what happened towards the ending. And the ending of this game, when the Warriors were kind of just like winding down, trying to close out the game, I think Lester Quinones went for a layup, and the Hornets players got really upset at that.
With the shot clock still on, by the way.
Yeah. And while this is happening, Steve Kerr is going to shake the Charlotte head coach's hand. And all you see is just like them pan over to Steve and the Charlotte Hornets coach. And the Charlotte Hornets coach just goes, what the fuck? And they both just chase over. And it just pans back to the other group of people. And all you see is just like this massive fight that's going. And it was just the funniest altercation ever because it was so unnecessary. Like, I understand the unwritten rule of, "Oh, it's the ending of the game, you shouldn't be scoring, da 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 da." I can understand it. But at the same time, when I get it really just does not matter. Like, it really doesn't. I don't I to be honest with you, I never really I understand the rule, but I don't understand like why it is that important. It just doesn't make any sense. But Lester Quinones and Grant Williams, along with Miles Bridges, got into it as well. I'm gonna see if I can find the clip really quickly. But that in particular was pretty insane in terms of just like them just fighting for literally no reason. Because we were trying to get out of there, and they just wound it up to start fighting, and I was kind of annoyed at
Oh,
that.
you know what?
The last basket being attempted, yet Charlotte was pressing the Warriors at the end of the game, like right before.
Hold on, I need to see. I never saw the Hornets announcer
Oh, that must be
reacting. Hold on.
Oh, the Hornets announcer.
Oh,
Oh,
look, they're squabbling. Probably says,
yeah, I know.
Oh my goodness!
Nah, that's hilarious. I'm trying to find the video right now from when they were in that altercation. I'm just gonna try to find it right now. I feel like the Warriors are the type of people to post it when it happens and then just delete it, but
that's how bad the game was. We talk about the altercation more than the
yeah, because the game was
battles.
chat. You all don't understand. Like, I love breaking
Yeah.
down games for y'all, letting y'all know what happened because not everyone's gonna be able to watch it so far. But when I tell you nothing was happening in this game of meaning, like nothing was happening. It was crazy. Like,
He's actually very restrained, I would say.
So congratulations to the Golden State Warriors. They have now won 8 of their last 9 games. They're playing their best pass. And Quinones, Miles, Mann, Grant. And Quinones clearly is not happy with Grant Williams.
You can tell the energy out of him is just sat from what he had to sit through.
Now, that's a New York kid right there, Quinones.
That's a New York kid right there, Quinones.
that is crazy.
Charlotte guys don't back down though. Look at Grant Williams. Yeah, right there. Yep, all up in the middle of it. That escalated quickly.
Steve Kerr was so disgusted with Grant Williams. Right there.
Nah, but like, why did Grant Williams take this way more serious than Lester did?
Because he's trying to set a tone for the team that I'm Grant Williams. I'll be our enforcer, tough guy.
Let me show y'all. I want to show y'all a different angle, right? Just pay attention to this, please. I'm a kind of lower this guy. I don't want to be too loud, but just look at what Lester is saying to Grant Williams. Now, some would say that this team would need a veteran leader, right? And was this not being shared this whole time?
Yeah, no.
Oh,
we
that's
nothing.
Crazy. That is insane.
Mm-hmm.
I was about to move on to the other clip right now. I'm not even gonna lie to you, bro. All right. Well, let's play that again. I want y'all to pay attention to what he is what he's saying right now.
Head to head there, headbutts happening. Head to head there.
First of all,
man, look at Draymond's leadership, man.
Oh no, nah, this isn't Draymond's leadership actually, because there was a
absolutely incredible.
Welcome back to another episode of. Okay, let me chill out. But listen, right? Listen. This looked very similar to me. I'm like, huh, I feel like someone else did this on this team, you know? Another person who has great veteran leadership, you know, who's gonna be back very soon, actually. Sooner than I can't even say that because it's gonna sound so fucked up. But he'll be back. And he is back. And I'm like, damn, this is like very like familiar. that veteran leadership, chat. Like that's the thing that Gifted
Yeah.
and were really harping on this season coming into the play of things. They knew that Chris Paul would have an effect on the youth, and it seems to like there is this effect, right?
Yeah,
Where
like they both know how to tell the referees that they're good human beings that deserve their jobs, and it's
no,
like
not even just referees, just people in general that like
just
there's
really
some of
good
the
vibes, you know?
just really,
Yeah.
really good vibes, right? Like you could
Mhm.
tell, like even the way they said that word, like you're good, like they said it with emphasis and force.
You're
Like,
so good, man.
you know what I'm saying? So shout out to Chris Paul for the veteran leadership. You feel me? I always rock that. Like I always fucked with that type shit. So
I always
yeah,
liked
bro.
it, man. Always.
Now moving on from this game, we had our third and final game of the week, which was a pretty horrible loss in my opinion. And to kind of go into what happened into this game, it was again not even to be surprising at all, because it isn't surprising. It's like it's the same thing as the reason as to why you lose. So to get into it, the Warriors lose 103 to 119 in a horrible fashion, in my opinion, to the Denver Nuggets that sweep us in the season series. To be fair, this was our only game with Draymond Green. We didn't get to play these guys with Draymond throughout the entirety of the season, but the results did not change. Denver came in, did their job, played absolutely tremendous basketball from the second quarter onward, and absolutely blazed us out of our own gym. I'm pretty sure in the back end of that second quarter for the rest of the game, they outscored us 72 to 42 for the rest of the game. So it was pretty much just a no-show from the Warriors from this back end of the second quarter onward. And it was a really annoying loss because I felt like as if the Warriors could have came out and actually did a much better job, which they were doing in the first quarter. The Warriors came out on like a 35-point first quarter. Everything was guns blazing. Everyone was clicking offensively. Clay came in off the bench, was immediate impact. He had like 20 points in the first quarter or something like that off the bench. So everyone was pretty much locked in, right? And from the second quarter onward, where obviously the Denver Nuggets, the championship team who just came off of their run last year, they're obviously going to know how to respond. And they have that championship, I guess, DNA kind of thing where they're going to be able to respond to bigger runs. They came and they responded to the run itself. And the Warriors' response was horrible in terms of making adjustments, the correct
running down their
defensive
leg,
reads.
bro.
Sorry?
It was running down their leg.
Yeah, there was.
Sure
gave-
was.
They
And
gave
by-
up a,
By
they gave
it,
up
you meant shit. But go ahead.
my bad. They gave up a 14-0 run to end the second quarter, and they scored, I believe, 4 points, and then gave up another 14-0 run to start the third.
Mm-hmm. So it was like, to Denver's point, it was a shit show from the Warriors. Literally through that 5-minute mark of the second quarter for the rest of that game was horrible for the Golden State Warriors. I think Denver, I got to give credit to them. I think offensively, they just executed flawlessly. Obviously, having a guy like Jokic, who to me is the best player in the world, that caliber of playmaker and offensive player that he is, to kind of just be the hub for someone like Jamal Murray to get off and have the game that he had was very vital. And to be honest with you, I actually think the Warriors did a decent job on Jokic to kind of start out this game and not allow him to get onto his hyper-efficient games where he's just dominating you over and over and over again, which is still a very good game from Jokic, right? He shot 2 of 5 from 3, 4 of 4 from the line, 13 of 24, 32 points, 16 rebounds, 14 assists.
He had a triple-double at halftime, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, like he was sensational for the Denver Nuggets in this one. And some of our players weren't, actually. And I actually want to get to this really quickly because this game really pissed me off the most, chat. Is because this game was very important to us because the Lakers lost this day. They lost to the Suns, and we could have potentially held on to the 9th seed. It could have been climbing up in the leaderboards, trying to get back into the play-in picture, to have at least, to not be able to not play 2 play-in games, essentially, right? And to try to get into playoff seeding. But the Warriors were nonetheless pretty shitty for this game. And by shitty, I mean the starters. If you could clearly tell by the plus minus already, the starters were horrible today. Andrew Wiggins, to me, I think his plus minus is a little bit like, it's kind of like, I don't want to say like overrated. I don't know what the word is to describe it, but like I'm gonna overlook it kind of thing, because he was a minus 14, but he was clearly one of the better players to start this game as well. The most eye gouging thing that I'm looking at right now is Steph Curry. That is the most eye gouging thing in this season series. And I want to let the Gifted really hit on this point as well. He's just been horrible, and especially against the Nuggets. I don't know what it is when he sees this coverage. I don't know, maybe it's the players or maybe it's the coaches. He just doesn't like to be aggressive. And now you're probably thinking to yourself, KB, he's 6 of 19, 1 of 10 from 3. Clearly he was aggressive. He just couldn't get his shots going. Maybe the Denver Nuggets did a good job playing defense on him. While I do agree to some extent that the Denver Nuggets did do a very good job playing defense on Steph Curry, I also do say to myself in the season series when I watched all these games, majority of these 19 shots don't come into play until the third or fourth quarter, where he's trying to get himself going in a game where he should have gotten himself going quarters ago. And that's been an ongoing issue for Steph Curry against the Denver Nuggets specifically.
He took 9 shots in the third quarter.
9 of his 19. So
that and 3 in the fourth.
12 of his shots came in the back end of the third or fourth quarter when he only had 7 in the first half. He was 1 of 7 and 0 of 5 from 3 and proceeded to go 1 of 5 from 3 in the following half. But Gifted, I want to know your thoughts on what you thought of Steph Curry's diarrhea job and the Warriors blowing this one.
I gotcha. I think it's better if I actually show you.
Some visuals type shit. The visuals of the shit job. Let's see, bro.
Remember this play?
Oh, the reverse. I know exactly where this is going.
Yes.
So Jokic hands are right here. He could have easily just finished that, but he tries to go for the up and under.
Known shot blocker Nikola Jokic.
So that's off, and then that literally leads to
I think it's Jamal Murray
offense.
Yeah. That's pretty much how the third quarter went. I gotta say,
shot blocker. Hold on, let me pull up some shots.
Oh,
when I say chat, there was obviously shots that he took this game earlier where he was just missing, and I'm like, damn. But you can tell when you have a favorite player, you watch your team a lot. You can tell the best player on your team, the one who needs to be the most aggressive. You can tell when he's just not in tune with the offense and he's just not willing to be aggressive. It was literally getting so bad to the point that I wanted Clay to come in, and it's not because I'm saying that it was so bad I needed to I'm trying to diss Clay or what he was doing in that game, because I think he was our best offensive player in that game. And it's crazy for me to say that because in this game it was still even with the Warriors being the shitty, it was still particularly close. It wasn't out of reach. It kind of skipped there. I don't know why, but baseline drive, floater, off the miss, Jokic rebound, they're out running. This is their 14-0 run, right?
Yep.
Pull up.
I didn't even realize Steph changed his shoes in the second half.
Shit didn't help.
I remember that possession. That was a solid defensive possession. They just couldn't close with a rebound.
Yeah.
Right here, you do a good job stunting. You got to get in front of Jokic there. And Jokic missed a bunny. Yep. That's good defense. That's just,
he was hitting his threes.
Yeah, he was.
Even though we're still up 9 with 1:40 left.
This is a tough shot. That's a tough shot.
That's a bad foul.
But see that right there, though, that was the big factor of the game for me, because what broke into the momentum first was them breaking up the flow by getting to the free throw line on plays like that, and then also just making their shots while Golden State could not capitalize, and they turned the ball over. Plays like this where you're literally yielding the possession to Denver, you're feeding them even more to stop our run. That's what happened to me.
That's a miss.
This was great defense. But My issue is that you can't ask Draymond to do this the entire game.
You can't, and that's my biggest like problem. And it's like, can you pause it real quick? And I want to get into this too. It's just that's the thing, right? I get it. There's Looney is your best post up matchup for Jokic, but having him on the floor with Draymond really hurts your offense because Looney's inability to roll, finish, catch lobs, and just be fast. Which athleticism, if you lack size, if you could counter with athleticism and speed and having vertical in terms of like leaping ability, that will really help. That's why guys like GP2, who yes aren't the biggest on the floor, can play sometimes and play up because their ability to recognize cuts, play weak side, and understand the intricacies of just being a non-spacer and knowing when to cut, right? But that's why they thrive. But Looney can't really do that because of his inability to kind of leap, his inability to finish, his inability to roll and finish with contact as well. And you're thinking to yourself, okay, well then Draymond's probably gonna have to be on Nikola Jokic actually for majority of this game, which I don't like. But there's also another solution to that, which again, I feel like a broken record continuing to say this week in and week out, is TJD. If you have lineups where Aaron Gordon and Nikola Jokic are on the floor together, which to be honest with you, they're actually always on the floor together. I'm pretty sure they like match minutes damn near at this point. I don't never see them not on the floor together. Mm-hmm. They're giving you a reason to play TJD, right? Because Aaron Gordon is another person who is a non-spacer, who is not able to knock down his shots, but is a very good cutter, knows how to play off of Jokic, and is that like blanket in terms of, okay, if I'm getting doubled, I know where it's coming from. I know where he's going to be. Just be there and I'm going to get it to you. And that's what always worked for them. But if you plug in TJD along with Draymond having his post defense, because I think Draymond in the post yesterday, was actually was really good. I thought he was like denying Jokic's spots, contesting very well. It's Jokic. You're not going to be able to stop him all night. I expect him to hit shots, but you did a good job making it hard for him. Now you're making it hard for Draymond to try to play this type of defense while also helping, while also rotating, while also trying to stunt and play the gaps, while also trying to get rebounds, while also trying to shot deny. You're not giving him the proper pieces to be able to have that back line. And that's what allows Draymond to be to be extremely good at what he does. Like, even when you look back at 16, and I know this was a long time ago, and he was obviously a much better defender. When we had Andrew Bogut on the floor, we were allowing 8 less points than the average. I think 6 or 8 less points than the average. Yeah. Which is literally, and I kid you not, an all-time great defense.
Zealy to an extent.
Like, and yeah, like it didn't even matter what big. If you gave him a big that had the ability to just shot block to a decent amount, that changes your defense so much. And again, these two have barely played any minutes together. And the 21 minutes that they played, in a few minutes, they already have a defensive rating of 97. So there's and their offensive rating is also a 120. So even though it's a very small sample size, and I understand, there is no rhyme or reason why they shouldn't be playing together. There's no indicator that they actually can't even work offensively together. Draymond this season has been one of your best shooters by percentage this year. And he's been doing it on volume as well. So it's like, yes, people are going to play Draymond like he's a non-spacer, which is fine. But he's constantly in action. He's not going to be away from the ball a lot of possessions. He's going to be initiating. We know this. So having him out at the top and still being there isn't really going to hurt anything. And on top of that, Trace can finish at the basket. He is a vertical spacer. So teams are going to have to either live with him just catching lobs all night or respect his vertical spacing ability, which if they do, that means that he's a legitimate threat and he's taking away players from the floor, which allows more space. So it's like, you need to implement these things. And by you, I mean Steve Kerr. And if you don't do these things, it's just going to be a problem for you going forward. You're not going to be able to take any matchup seriously. We can't sit here and have proper discussions about the team and what they could do in the postseason. It's just not going to be the case at all. Like, Gifted, what's your thoughts, bro? Because this is like, at this point, it's actually just getting like ridiculous, bro.
Well, again, I said this 2 weeks ago. I think the biggest problem with this team is consistency of execution and lineups, and that continues to be a thing that, Kerr doesn't have a clear idea of, right? Like, I like Lester, he's cool, but the fact that he's being guaranteed more minutes than Moses Moody, who provides a lot, is a questionable thing, right? The fact that we still see Looney and Kuminga minutes when those minutes have not been good either, that still continues to happen. And this is all happening without Chris Paul being back in the lineup. Now that you're introducing Paul back, you should realistically see minutes of players that have been producing go down to fit him back in. By the way, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing consistently for Chris Paul. I do think there are some things that he can provide in the non-Steph minutes for sure. But I feel like we're just not consistent when it matters against the elite of the elite like that. The biggest win we had of any team above 500 was probably the Boston Celtics. And it's like, even in that game where Trace wasn't guaranteed minutes, but he comes in, plays well, the fact that there's no carryover to the next game to where we can reproduce good habits is concerning for this Warriors team. Now, their playoff defense in terms of how they'll play when it matters most, I do believe it's going to be different from what they've shown so far. But overall, the ceiling of this team is really dependent on how these pieces are used. And even then, I don't see a high ceiling from that necessarily. So that's kind of my issue with things, man. We just don't have a consistent approach to who should play, who shouldn't play. And from game to game to game, it changes. There's not a consistent 10-game or 20-game stretch, even though the numbers show that, hey, Trace, as a shot blocker with Draymond, can be something very, very effective for this team. It's kind of annoying, but it's where we are.
Yeah.
See, like, I went back to this because this is kind of what KB's been talking about. Draymond is playing so far off of Jokic because Jamal Murray is just so dangerous. So he is gonna have to help at some point. And also, Aaron Gordon has a cut right here. Klay Thompson is having to play in between, and so when he does actually get the pass out, Draymond has to cover so much ground. He's basically at the basket, and he does get a contest on it, but you can't be asking him to do that.
For what? For 4 quarters straight? Like, that's my problem. It's like the idea of Draymond at the 5.
He's having to do so much, and
exactly.
I mean, he's doing it, which is more of a testament to how incredible Draymond is as a defender. But you ideally wouldn't want him to be having to do all that on a night-to-night basis.
And then again, you go to post games, and you say things like, "Oh well, Steph's tired or Draymond's exhausted." So I don't know. Maybe we should just get them a rest day. And I'm like, bro. Yes, they need a rest day because they're tired. I understand that. But nigga, they're fatigued because you're asking them to do some things that they would do when they're 27. These niggas aren't 27 anymore. They're older. They need much more help. Like, and to Steph's case, it's a lot harder because you need what Steph needs is a lot more complicated. And that's something that he just doesn't have yet in terms of a secondary creator that can alleviate some of the pressure that he has. But for Draymond's problem, your solution is right in front of you, or at least your temporary solution is right in front of you, and TJD, and you refuse to play him. And when you do, you play TJD with Dario Saric, which I don't mind, by the way. I think that's fine. But you don't play him with Draymond to close some of these games. I'm not saying TJD has to start. Like, I don't even have to. He doesn't have to start. But in certain games, to close certain games, in certain stretches, there's adjustments that you just have to make, that you have to recognize. And when you play teams like the Nuggets, or when you just teams that are bigger in general, and you need bigger bodies to just kind of combat this, you have to play TJD. Like, that's just something that is like necessary going forward. And that's my biggest problem with this team, is that not this team, sorry, with Steve Kerr. It's just he doesn't want to make this adjustment. I don't know why. Like, you see TJD playing well. Like, you can pair Kuminga and Looney together, but not TJ. Like, it just doesn't make any sense to me.
Like, I understand that he's like a rookie and like he's young, but at some point you gotta realize that like, oh my goodness. At some point you gotta realize that it doesn't matter. It's not even an excuse anymore, because B-Pause is playing 30 minutes a game.
And on top of that, bro, he's like 22. Second of all, you have 2 guaranteed years with TJD. So when y'all signed him, y'all knew what y'all could get out of him and extended him even longer than what you would do for a rookie. Y'all gave him already an extension. You could sign him to 4 years, and 2 of them were guaranteed years. So he's here. You guys had a point of emphasis to say, okay, he's here long term. He fits the mold. We need him. Let's move with him. But you still play Kevon Looney more minutes than him sometimes. Like, I'm looking at PvP stats right now, guys, literally, and I'm gonna share this tab right now. You guys see it? Okay, they can't see it. Let me share my screen. All right, bro. This is literally Kevon Looney and Jonathan Kuminga together when they're on the floor, guys. And every single leverage, low, medium, high, and very high. When they're on the floor together, they are at a net rating of a -1. We have a 120 defensive rating, and our offensive rating is a 119. I'm telling you right now, chat, and to the people who are listening to this later when we put this out, right? Kevon Looney is the biggest liability with this team right now. The biggest. And I love Kevon. I love what he brought to this team. I love what he gave to this team. But what we need right now is just not Kevon Looney, period. Point blank. He just doesn't fit the mold. He doesn't do anything right with his offense. He doesn't do anything right with the defense as well. A lot of the breakdowns, a lot of the stuff that's going on offense being stagnant is with him and his minutes. And it's been very bad to watch. So to me, it's like, no offense, I'm at the point where Looney should be getting some DMPs right now. Just did not play. On some, we need to play TJD more minutes. If Chris Paul's going to be getting his every single non-Steph minute is going to Chris Paul, then TJD has to get his run. Because are you going to pair CP3 with Looney and think that's going to work? Because it's not.
I just think it's so funny though, because again, like
it's crazy.
Even if Trace is out there, we've seen them still do Chris Paul, Dario, and Trace. You just rock out. Like Chris Paul was using Trace in the pick and R more consistently than okay, I can feel that. But I really feel like it's gonna go back to, all right, Dario, let's run it back again, and they're gonna be doing the same thing they were before. Like is that gonna change? I don't know.
Bro, I'll be honest with you, bro. I have no idea, bro. I don't know. And the worst part is that Dario's also playing bad. Hopefully, when CP comes back, maybe that will help.
Oh no, he'll be better. His favorite eater's back now, so yeah.
You gotta stop saying that, bro.
Like he'll be good.
You gotta stop saying.
I'm just saying.
You gotta stop saying that, bro. But not chat. Like this was my biggest problem with this game. It's just like every loss, every time we lose a game, every time we go into a stretch where it's a tough loss, it's the same problem. Defensive rebounds, not closing up possessions, the execution offensively being poor, and lack of size to close games. It's been those same issues. And I'm telling you, TJD solves like 3 out of the 4 problems that you have.
Like it's not a good thing when you can look at the lineup that's on the floor and say, oh wow, they're throwing. This is not going to work out.
Bro, I forgot.
We say that a lot.
I completely forgot about this, bro. Honestly, I completely forgot about this. In the same game, this is so crazy. In the same game where the Nuggets realized that, okay, this is getting a bit straight. Like the Warriors are kind of making their run a little bit. They're getting to the basket, getting cuts. Mike Malone says, okay, I'm going to leave Zeke Naji on the floor with Jokic and let's just rock out like that. And it worked. And I'm watching him. I'm just like, bro, Zeke Naji switching on the floor. They still have Jokic and drop. The gaps are fine. The defense looks great. Offensively, they're still well spaced because Jokic is in action a lot. And I'm not saying Draymond is Jokic by any means. I swear to God, I'm not saying that shit. But teams respect Draymond's initiating and passing level ability to the point where they even play up, even with his inability to shoot, even though he's been shooting the ball well this season, right? So I'm watching Mike Malone make the adjustment that is correctly needed for them to be able to win this game comfortably. And Steve Kerr says, you know what? GP2, you come on the floor, bro. We need another non-spacer who can cut, but you're the better version than TJD. Are we serious? Like, I watched Zeke Naji get paired up with Nikola Jokic, but you're telling me Draymond can't close with Trace. When there's, again, chat, I've been saying it, zero indication. And I'll show you guys right now, actually. I can show y'all right now. I'll show y'all the exact, what it looks like for both these guys going forward in terms of how they pair together. When Draymond's on the floor, obviously, we're elite. We just know that. When they're both off the floor, we do okay, right? And that's just credited to the bench. When Trace is on the floor, we're also very good. Now, our offense looks terrible, but our defense is also amazing. And that's the whole point that I'm saying. Like, you don't have to be this crazy offensive team. And even in our 2022 run, our bench wasn't crazy, but it was defensively slanted. So, like, when the starters came back in, we could just get the job done. And that was fine. And now when they're both on the floor, a plus 12 with a 116 offensive rating and a 104 defensive rating. Like, there's no indication that these two cannot play together, bro. No indicator. but you don't play them.
We can't even get a bigger sample of them just seeing what it is. We only have 23 minutes of them playing.
And I'm pretty sure didn't Steve Kerr say that he wants to see both of them together, but never did it?
He literally said that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, chat. I don't know what to say, man. I'm not gonna lie. I have no words, respectfully. No words.
I looked up. So this is defensive impact, shots at the rim, players that have played more than 500 minutes, just to weed out all the dudes that are defending at an unprecedented, inhuman rate because they played 2 minutes. But let me see. So of players that have played 500 or more minutes, Trace Jackson Davis is right here. Teams are shooting 57.5% at the rim, with him as the primary defender, which, if you will notice, I mean, I know that it's a little bit of a lower volume because he has played less than half of the minutes of everybody around him. But the amount of shots that he's defended, which is right here, is pretty similar. Well, not similar, but it's not as drastic of a difference as you might expect. And even then, he still has a better mark than people like Jaren Jackson, Jabari Smith, Derek Lively, Bam Adebayo, Daniel Gafford. Like, it just doesn't make any sense why he's not playing more when he's been that great defensively.
I mean, that's why for me, like I can't really get to like having convos about this team in the future or playoff matchups because there's so much instability with the Warriors right now. And now that Chris Paul is officially about to come back, we're now going to see what this team is going to look like. I'm assuming Lester's minutes get cut completely at this point.
He's about to play 5 guards, bro.
Yeah, 5 guard lineups.
GP2 at center, Clay at the 4. Who's at the 3? Who's at the 3?
I would say Moody, but we know he's not playing.
He's not
playing. Hold on. Who do we play last night?
B-Pods?
Okay, Lester. Yeah. Actually, yeah. B-Pods at the 3, Steph at the 4, Chris Paul at the 5.
Steph at the 4 is crazy.
I think Lester's minutes are going to get cut, though. I really do. I think he's done playing.
Lester's minutes are, yeah, he's done. I'm not going to lie. He is done. My eye has been itchy all day, and I need to stop itching because it's going to get worse.
Wolves said, let the ref be a guard. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Nah, but chat, like, to move on to that point about CP3, yeah, he's back. And it's not a matter of, he'll be back during the road trip. He's back tomorrow, unfortunately. And I don't care if I sound like a dickhead for saying that. I'm pissed that he's back. In terms of the reason why I'm mad is because it's taking away minutes from guys that we want to see. Obviously, TJD. That's nasty. Nah, I don't mean it in terms of like, I'm happy he's healthy. I just mad at the fact that he's back and taking away minutes from guys I don't want to see minutes being taken away from. I don't mean it in stuff like I want this nigga to get hurt. I just don't want him to play. So, I just think going forward, it's going to be really hard to find minutes for TJD. Like, I just can't stop thinking about the fact that his minutes are just going to be gone. And it's kind of annoying because he's been thriving all season. He's been playing so well, like, all season. And no matter how many times he continues to prove to Steve Kerr that he is meant to be on this team in terms of a locked playoff rotation player, he will continue to not look at it as such. And even for someone like Moses Moody, to Steve Kerr's own quote, who said he's quote unquote out of the loop, it's just horrible for younger guys to be able to know that they're just not being able to thrive and be put in the right situations. And I seen Denver tweet about this the other day, and I was thinking about it too when it happened. And I'm just like, why didn't you trade him? Like, it just doesn't make any sense. Because if you aren't gonna use him, if you're not gonna play him,
he's not doing anything. He was a lottery pick.
And if you are coming out there saying that he is out of the loop, knowing that Lester Quinones, who I'm not gonna say is not deserving of his minutes because he's been fine when he's been playing with us.
I mean, how much better is Lester than Moody, though?
No, but that's what I was about to say. Who has been, honestly, who has proven more and done more for you, Moses? Like, you see, this is what I don't understand from Steve Kerr, and that's what gets me so upset. You just seen him last year when you seen Kuminga thrive, and you said, nah, I'm not dealing with Kuminga. I'm not dealing with that. Let me put in Moses Moody, and it worked.
And he played well. He played well in the playoffs.
And I want to point out that those were high leverage playoff minutes.
Nah, those are minutes that mattered. Yeah.
Again, there is no indicator that he cannot play some of these minutes. But again, you just don't play them the correct minutes.
High leverage playoff minutes when you're
I'm being so real, KB. This is gonna sound nasty, y'all. But Moody was legitimately like probably our second best shooter in the playoffs.
Probably. I'm not gonna
because Clay was off, Poole was off. It was pretty much Steph, and then like everyone else. We pray you guys can make shots.
High leverage playoff minutes when you're basically on the brink of elimination. Because I mean, if you go down 3-0, then you're just done.
It's a wrap. It's a wrap at that point. Yeah.
And oh my God.
Hold on, I'm just trying to pull up Moses Moody's yeah, chat. I don't know. I don't know. I'm looking at his stats right now. Again, no indicator that these niggas Clippers new logo. Yeah, that's sad. Anyways. Yeah, chat. No indicator that he is not a playoff player. The reason why I'm saying this, chat, is because again, CP3 is just gonna take away all these minutes from these guys. We kind of already know who's gonna be playing in the I'm saying like postseason, like as if we're gonna be there. Who's gonna be playing? Like I actually don't even know who we're gonna be. I don't know if we're gonna be there, but if we are there, we kind of know who's going to be playing there. Obviously, Steph, Draymond, Clay, Wiggins, those are just locks. Looney, I would think is a lock, but in my opinion, I don't think he's a lock. Depending on the matchup. Like if we somehow match up with the Nuggets first round, I don't mind playing Looney more minutes because you kind of need someone to combat the post-up presence for him. And you kind of need also Draymond to roam as well. So I can understand that to some degree. But outside of the Nuggets matchup, there's not really a matchup out there that he actually thrives in, point blank period. Maybe the Kings, but you're not going to match up with them in the first round. So, yeah, there's that. So Steph, Clay, Wiggins, Draymond is locked. I think GP2 is obviously going to get his minutes. B-Pods has now entered that playoff rotation locked guy because he's been getting 30 minutes every night. And Steve Kerr clearly trusts him. So that's 6 guys that I named. And CP3, that's 7. Lester, Moody, Trace. I did not name those, or even Dario Saric as well. And that's another 4 set of guys who have not been named that I just don't know are going to be guarantees. And all of them have been playing more consistent than some of the locked guys that I named already, which is crazy. Like, with all due respect. And it's crazy how Steve Kerr just sees this and does not want to actually give them a chance. Like, what is wrong with? I don't understand. What's wrong? What's wrong about Moses Moody's game? Like, every time I ask someone this like tries to be like, well, Moses isn't really that good. They can never tell me what's actually wrong with his game. You just can't.
He's literally a complimentary player that will shoot the 3 ball and can play defense. Sometimes he might not make shots, but my whole thing is like, okay, if you trust him enough to play him in the playoffs after a season of playing Anthony Lamb over him, what justifies him not playing at least 10 minutes a night every night? I don't really get the logic there. B-Pods has a smaller leash than Moody. Like, I really don't understand. And that's going to continue to hurt this team because, again, it's just multiple guard lineups. You only have Looney out there as your main 5. Like, there's just so much inconsistency night to night with this team.
And defensively,
I've never seen such malpractice to the point where you have the entire arena unironically
chanting Moody,
begging for a dude to be put in the game.
And I seen one of our good friends, Nana, tweet about this the other day too, where it's like we begged you to give Kuminga more minutes. You gave him more minutes. We begged you about B-Pods and benching Clay in that whole situation. You did it, and so far, to be honest with you, it's been a positive. Now we're begging you to play TJD and Moses Moody. Like at this point,
we should talk about the Draymond article from
yesterday. No, I'm gonna get to that as well too.
Okay.
Just right after this as well. At this point, are we doing your job, Steve? Like, are we doing your job? I can't tell. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you, because if this is like the point of emphasis that you going forward you're not gonna make the right adjustments, don't be surprised if you don't make it to April, bro. That's all I'm gonna say. Don't be surprised. Don't be surprised if you waste another year of Steph's prime and not let him compete. Don't be surprised. Don't be surprised, bro. Don't be surprised if Moses Moody wants out in the summer. Don't be surprised. You can't be surprised by some of these things. So when he's going to sit here and make all these excuses about players being fatigued or he's noticing some of these issues but not making the right adjustment, that's just what pisses me off the most, bro. And that's my biggest problem with Steve and this team is that if you don't make the right adjustments, you're not going to make it far at all. And if you made you made the most minor adjustments and look how much positive has come out of it.
My issue is that people like some fans in the fan base will see what has happened to, or like the whole Kuminga situation, and then the only conclusion they came to was, oh, see, that was Steve Kerr's coaching. Look at how well it worked. Look at how hard he's playing now.
That's not Steve Kerr's coaching, bro. Like he has to play this hard because he doesn't know if he's gonna get minutes.
It was just tough love.
Like I don't. It's the dumbest reasoning ever. It can't be tough love because you get at one point B-Pots had a longer leash than Kuminga, which is crazy. At one point during the season, B-Pots had a way longer leash and is Gifted awake but sleeping. Oh no, he's not. He's blinking. Actually, are you here with us? Gifted. I'm so confused right now, bro.
What?
I'm actually so confused. You good? Yo, I actually don't know what's going on right now. Gifted.
I'm sorry. I'm just thinking about Chris Paul. I'm sorry. Like that whole time y'all was talking, I phased out thinking about this shit, bro. It's so good.
Yo, chat.
What?
Like I'm dead just thinking. I'm dead just thinking in my head, like, bruh. Like I can see the 4-guard lineup now, man.
That deep in thought about another man.
Okay.
That's crazy. To move on from Steve Shitty and his shitty lineups and his shitty methodologies, let's go on to another situation where someone made a very dumb decision as well. So one person that I actually kind of rock with, but I tend to realize that his off-court antics I just don't rock with that much, to be honest with you anymore, is Draymond, as some people would say, Green. And his antics with this whole situation. Now, I was going to talk about this when we initially talked about the Hornets, but I felt like it needed its own little segment in terms of talking about what he said, our reaction, and like what he should have done kind of thing. So, Denver, you going to pull up the clip or should I?
You do that. I'm editing something right now.
So to give you all a little background story, Draymond Green was being interviewed post-game after the Hornets game and talking about the altercation. And he was saying some very questionable things on the panel. Pretty much talking about how during the game, during the altercation that he thought that Grant Williams was a loser. He thinks the whole situation about him trying to have this tough guy act was pretty weird. And I'll just play the video for you guys to kind of give you guys a bit of reference here. 1 second. Let me just restart this for y'all.
Get so mad at like somebody scoring at the end of the game. It's like this.
What was your take on what went down in the last 10 seconds?
Yeah, I don't really understand why people get so mad at like somebody scoring at the end of the game. It's like this dumb, unofficial, unwritten rule that everybody get mad. Like, if y'all were winning by 13 points, would you get mad if he laid the ball up?
No.
I doubt it. And so it's kind of like a sore loser type thing. Like, you know, Miles is my guy. That's my little brother. So I'm not going to sit here and go in on Miles. Miles can do no.
Yikes. I didn't know he called him his little brother.
Yeah, he did.
That is crazy.
That's going absolutely wrong for him. Like, he's a really nice guy. And for some reason he keeps like trying to jump on the unlikable side. And I must tell you, it's not always fun over here. It's not always a good time. And so, I don't know, man. He needs to figure it out. Because, boy, I mean, talking too much kind of got you out of Dallas. Like, overdoing it.
Was he yapping?
I still can't believe that was the actual quote. They were tired of his yapping.
Yeah, that was the actual quote. That was crazy.
Being a tough guy. Chris was tough as the Players Association president, but like CP's 6 feet. Like you gotta have some nastiness to you to be that great and be 6 feet tall. I don't know what Grant Williams out here doing, man. That dude.
Yeah, he was cooking Grant Williams, man.
Then he came over to our bench, thought he was going to have a friend. Ain't no friends for you over here, my man. Like, you gotta go down there and talk to your guys. You can't come over here and talk to us about what just happened with our players. Like, no, we support him. Also, there's a 2-second differential in the shot clock. Would you like us to take another turnover? We got enough turnovers on this game as it is. You also cannot press down 13 with a minute to go. And then somebody shoot a layup with 22 seconds to go. And you get mad. Like, with 2:45, we took our stars out. Go sit down. It's over. Game is over. Go sit down. They didn't want to go sit down. So if y'all still playing, then play. Don't stop now because there's 22 seconds left and you finally feel like it's out of reach. Clearly, we thought it was out of reach at 2:45, which is why Steve took everybody out. So now that you think it's out of reach, it's okay. Like, oh, it ends now. No, it doesn't work like that. And so I'm really sick of guys with this. Like, oh, you scored at the end. Like, bro, you should have did that a long time ago. Yeah, man. Pray for Grant Williams.
Nah, that's great.
That brother needs some help.
Now listen, chat. I'm not gonna lie.
He should have said it, bro.
Yeah,
barely any lies. Barely any lies.
That brother needs help.
80% of what he said was true as hell. In terms of what Grant Williams. Now, he cooked the shit out of him. That's what made me laugh. Initially, when I saw this, I didn't even watch the video. I just thought they were talking about Grant only. I didn't know what he said about Miles. So when I quote tweeted, I was like, nah, he cooked the shit out of him. Oh my gosh, right? But then I listened back and I actually just listened to the audio just to see what he was saying. And I realized this nigga said Miles Bridges is his little brother. He can't do no wrong. That's gotta be one of the craziest things I'd have never heard someone say, especially coming out of Draymond's mouth. Now, for those of you who don't know, Miles Bridges was dating or engaged. I don't know if it was fiance or they were married. I don't know what they were like their relationship status was, but they were in a relationship. The status of it, I don't know what. Miles Bridges was dating the sister of Andrew Wiggins' wife, right? So Andrew Wiggins' wife's sister, Miles Bridges was dating, and they got into
sister-in-law.
Sorry.
Yeah, there you go.
Sister-in-law.
Simpler, yeah.
So they got into an altercation, and then Miles Bridges ended up assaulting his partner, and in a situation that was just clearly Miles Bridges was in the wrong for laying hands on a woman, point blank period. It's just something that you don't do. It is something that it's just like it's not even in like an unwritten rule kind of thing. It's a rule. It's written. You don't do that. You don't lay hands on a woman regardless of the situation, in my opinion. You try your best to steer away from that. And he didn't, and he put hands on her and he hurt her physically, which is very wrong. And everyone knew this, which is why everyone kind of just steered clear to Miles Bridges. That's why like his contract was messed up. He was in legal situations. And of recently, I think his charges got dropped due to lack of evidence, which I still think is some BS. The evidence is clearly right there. And what Draymond Green says specifically about Miles Bridges is pretty nasty, because your teammate is Andrew Wiggins, whose wife is Mike. Is it Mikel or Michael? I don't want to mispronounce her name, but
Michael.
It just Michael, whose wife is Michael, the sister-in-law, right? and you say these things about like it just I can't wrap my head around how you can say he can't do no wrong after he just did what he did. Like, I don't know how you can say that. Like, how do you say that's my little brother? He can't do no wrong. When you just not watched, when you seen the situation, understood that he hit a woman.
Is it surprising to y'all?
Like, it's just, yeah, I think to me, it is a bit surprising because I know Draymond is edgy. I know Draymond's a bit like different thinking or whatever.
Yeah, but he usually takes like the moral high ground in situations like that.
Yeah, like he doesn't say stuff like this isn't for me, at least from what I think of the character of Draymond Green. This isn't of character. This doesn't fit the mold of the person that I thought that I like grew up watching kind of thing. So that's why I'm so confused by this. It's just like, how can you say those things about a person that your team pretty much like this is your teammate is Andrew Wiggins. Like they were both heavily involved probably in that situation. Extremely. And you say those things knowing that after you leave this post game, you're going to the locker room to see that nigga. Like that's just crazy.
Yeah, I'm personally not surprised at all. Anytime Miles Bridges has come up with Draymond has been aligned with them. He was literally working out with them during the summer, like shortly after those charges dropped. I'm pretty sure they have like a very tight connection. So for him to reference Miles Bridges as his little bro to me doesn't really surprise me in any way. Him saying he can't do any wrong is just kind of funny because obviously they're gonna bring up the fact that he had some off the court drama, but I think he cares about Miles Bridges and just didn't care to like, you know, use something else to refer to him. He just felt that way, so he said what he said. But yeah, it doesn't really surprise me because of that. Like I feel like what Draymond is people are gonna try to say, oh, he doesn't know any better. Draymond knew what he was doing when he said that the way he said that. We don't have to make excuses for that. I just feel like Draymond is more focused on his personal relationship with Miles Bridges, and maybe he feels like there's hope in this person or human being or whatever. So he just said what he said without clearing up anything else. I don't really like to focus on that because with Draymond, that's not going to change. If Miles Bridges comes up the next time, he's going to probably say it in another type of way. I heard that his charges got dropped again. I'm not too familiar with the circumstances of the case fully, so I'm not going to really speak on what did or didn't happen. But regardless, for him to be facing those charges with like the pictures and all this other stuff, and for you to say that, it's not a good look, but that's Draymond. If he feels a way about you, if he trusts you or whatever it is, he's going to say how he feels. And he genuinely feels that, hey, Miles Bridges, like, that's my guy, it's my bro. He can't do no wrong to me. But Grant Williams, you're a yapper. So I'm going to shit on you for like 3 minutes. And that's what he did. So I'm not really moved by it. There's not really going to be much to come from this. It's just going to be the next post game. But this has been a thing that's been lingering around the team for some time now. So, okay.
So keeping the theme with Draymond, on a much lighter note, he had a article, or he had some quotes.
Yeah.
In this article, in reference to Steve Kerr and the way that he has been handling the Jonathan Kuminga situation, and really just any young player on this team that's existed under Steve Kerr. And he was basically defending Steve Kerr, saying that, like, well, right here. So he basically started out by saying, I think Kerr gets a lot of criticism for, he's not playing the young guys, but would JK have been as ready as he is now a year ago? I personally don't think so. I think we all believe in what JK could become, but you almost do JK a disservice by not giving him credit for the work he put in to become the player that he's become this year.
Yeah, we spoke on this yesterday. That was some bullshit. That was pretty dumb because that comment literally makes it sound like you're trying to gaslight people. You do realize we're literally giving JK the credit for the work he put in his game by saying, hey, if he got more reps, he could be even better on top of the work he's already put in. right? And I don't think us asking Kuminga to have a single minute in a playoff series or for him to not have to share minutes with Anthony Lamb is necessarily a bad thing, because as good as Kuminga's been this year, clearly if he got more time for development in the last season, maybe he'd be even better now, right? Like, the problem with this Warriors team is you have assets on the team that you generally are not maximizing in multiple different scenarios. And I said this last year, I said this at the start of this year, and I'll say it again. If you have young players that you're not going to play, you either send them to the G League for development so they can build up and then come back to the team at a later date, or you trade them, or you play them. Those are your three options to do.
Especially if they're a lottery pick.
Especially if you drafted them high, yes. And despite knowing that, nothing is happening with their contracts coming up in the air. Now, Kuminga's got more trust. B-Pos has got more trust. But Moody, pretty much, is going to be a super dead asset. If you're Moses Moody, why would you want to, like, re-sign with the Warriors at all if you're literally getting, like, Anthony Lamb playing a season over you? Like, I just, you know. So I don't understand the point of what Draymond is saying. But again, it doesn't really matter what his logic or rationale is. From Draymond's perspective, he's protecting Steve Kerr, because I won 4 titles with him. I trust Steve Kerr as my coach. So I'm going to say whatever it takes, and that's going to be what it's going to be.
Yeah, but my issue is that you don't need to lie or like see like this quote. This is what pisses me off.
Yeah.
I think Steve Kerr has caught a lot of unfair criticism about playing young guys when, number one, you haven't had to or needed to, but as soon as you've needed to, you're doing it. And you've made that adjustment, and look what it's done for us this season. But this is what I was talking about yesterday. He's sort of talking about this as if the whole Kuminga situation didn't even happen. Like, it was just a thing where we came into the season and, oh, he's playing Kuminga now. Like, no, that's not the reality of the situation.
Yeah, it's a problem.
So that's just what I wanted to talk about real quick.
We talked about this yesterday, and I just think, again, bullshit. He's yapping. He called Grant Williams a yapper. Nigga's talking out of his ass. I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. That's just he's talking some bullshit. Jonathan Kuminga would still be. No one's discrediting the work that he's put in this offseason. No one's. People are actually just praising everything that he's done, even the negatives. Like, it's not really a lot of negative talk with the Warriors fan base upon Jonathan Kuminga. And the reason why we're actually harping on his decision making with the young guys, it's not even because of Kuminga. Kuminga now is fine. Like, we're kind of past that. It's Moody, it's TJD, and it's TJD. And like, it's just those two in particular. Your lack of adjustment making for your team has been horrible. You recognizing some intricacies in terms of like who needs to play in what position at what time during the stretch of games, making those adjustments has been extremely inconsistent. You took too long to make minimal adjustments to actually make your team better. And when you've seen these minimal adjustments, you think that's just it. That's all you have to do when there's actually more work to be done. And like I said, it shouldn't be 50, 60 games into the year where it takes you this long to understand that someone like Kevon Looney just shouldn't be getting a lot of minutes. Or someone like Andrew Wiggins is going to be inconsistent, is going to be struggling. Or someone like Klay Thompson, who in his own right has played better off the bench, who kind of needs to have that reduced role.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're just like, it doesn't take 60 games to recognize this, Steve. I understand sample sizes matter, but you're not that. I'm sorry. I don't think you're that stupid. Or maybe I just think too highly of you. Maybe this is who you actually are. I don't know. But from the years that I've watched you play to coach basketball, make adjustments, I've seen you make the right adjustments at the right time. And a lot of the times it's resulted into wins. So to me, it's like, what?
And
like, it just
a lot of the times it's also happened late in the season.
Like, when I say a lot of times, like, I'm talking about postseason adjustments and stuff like that. And it's just like, bro, you're so willing to do it when it matters, but then I don't know. I'm so done, kind of like, man, I just feel like I talk about this nigga every week in the shitty adjustments.
You do,
and it's actually just becoming very annoying. So I want to move on to another topic.
Our preview.
Yeah, our preview for our last games until next week. So I want to get into that right now. Let me pull up these games.
We are on a 4-game road trip now?
Yeah, we are. No, yeah, 4 games. Yeah, I thought it was 5. Yeah, we're on 4 games. Okay. Can y'all see my screen? No, you can't. Okay. So, Chickadee chat, and for those listening,
Chickadee chat.
Yeah, Chickadee chat. So we have a 4-game stretch, East Coast heavy. We got Washington, New York, Toronto, and Boston.
Washington, the Chris Paul revenge game.
I've been hearing people say that.
Chris Paul revenge game is crazy. We play Washington tomorrow. Oh crap! I just realized we might have to push back the pod again, guys.
Oh yeah, God damn! What?
We have, for those who are watching on YouTube right now who don't get to watch on Playback.
Maybe
we have our podcast live Sunday 3:30 Eastern Standard Time on Playback.
Play Boston
and we play Boston at 3:30 on Sunday Eastern Standard Time.
Maybe do you want to just move it to like the game ends? We just start the pod because I feel like that would make sense. Like we could just get through it all in one stream.
Low key, yeah, but I'm not gonna lie. After the stream, I'd probably end it and restart it because I'm not downloading a 4-hour VOD. Yeah. Respectfully, I ain't got the PC 3000 for that. So yeah.
You got the bust down setup?
No, get that. I don't have $150 colored keyboard. I don't.
How you keep raising the shit every time? Eventually, he's gonna be like, "No, I don't have the $300."
No, it wasn't a keyboard, man. It was a mouse pad. Get it right.
That's even worse.
Yeah.
I mean, it came with the keyboard.
Like, because a $150 keyboard isn't like that insane. I mean, that's a lot, but that's not insane. $150 for a mouse pad is like unfathomable. I still can't believe you did that.
Your PC so big, man. 16 zones. I'll never forget.
19. You're right.
Yeah. But listen, right? So we got Washington tomorrow. We have a back-to-back in New York and in Toronto. And then Sunday we got a game against the boys in Boston, Juar. So I think going forward for these games in particular is going to be very tough. Now, I think Washington, God willing, will be a win. So, because Jordan Poole actually came off of a very good game the other night, and he gets to see the Warriors with Draymond Green. It might give him a little bit of motivation to kind of come out a little bit aggressive. So, we'll see. And that's going to be a very interesting game, just a little marquee. And he kind of missed already the matchup when we played him in December. So, also, New York, Jalen Brunson has been going crazy. I don't know if Julius Randle will be back, but it's going to be pretty interesting to play those guys as well.
Is OG gonna be back?
You said what?
Is OG gonna be back by then, you think, or no?
I'm not sure, honestly. We'll see going forward. But
okay,
TNT, New York, Steph Curry, and Madison Square Garden. So who knows? We might get a little classic, maybe. I don't know. Hopefully,
maybe.
In Toronto, I might have to go to this game low key. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm lying. I'm not going to that game.
Lied immediately.
Yeah, I lied like shit. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, he saw that. He saw that entry price at $93.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, bro. I know the niggas is taxing crazy, but yeah, they play Toronto. I'll be here for that game. I won't be in what is it called now? Scotiabank Arena. So yeah, well, we'll be here for that as well, and then Sunday as well. Obviously, Boston. So, what do you guys think the record would be? I think optimistic here.
Realistically,
KB
should be 3-1, but
that's what I also thought. But now, hear me out. Walk with me, hop out the car, let's go for a jog type shit, right? I feel like our loss is going to be against either New York or Toronto.
I feel like we go 2-2. I think we lose to Toronto and Boston back to back.
I don't think so. I think we actually beat Boston in Boston.
I mean,
and you know what's crazy? I'm the most confident about that win more than any other win.
And I know why you are too. I definitely understand why.
I'm more confident in that win. And chat, if y'all know me, y'all know like I'm a very I like to be honest, right? I like to be objective about my team. But when we go up against certain matchups, I just immediately become a heavy super fan and I just talk my shit. And when we see them boys in Boston, that's when I just start talking my shit, right? And I think in this game, it just kind of like a statement game. It's going to be very important. Now, obviously, Boston's going to come out, I think, guns blazing. And I think they're still a very good team, obviously. And I don't think we played them with KP. Did we play them with KP?
No, KP didn't play last time.
Yeah, so we didn't play them with KP. So this is going to be a whole different dynamic. Who knows? We could get blitzed, chat. I'm just saying. But I'm very confident we could go get that win on the road. Very confident. Very, very confident.
I'm very confident we'll be inconsistent.
Yeah.
So I got Boston beating us. I got RJ giving us 30. And
he's not hitting all those threes again, respectfully. His run is over, bro. I ain't gonna lie. His run is over, bro. I got us going 3-1. Our loss will be against funny enough, I think our loss will be against Toronto, but yeah. I think we go 3-1. I think we go in 2 straight. We lose in Toronto. We go on Boston in a tight game. Steph Curry finishes with 45 with 11 threes. That's my dream. So there you go.
Yeah, well, that is our upcoming schedule for next week. We'll be trying to do the pod after the game. Most likely, if anything changes, we'll keep you guys hip. But our next game, immediately is going to be versus Washington at Tuesday. The event is already scheduled for that. So for those of you who are watching this on the YouTube version, tap into the playback room. We'll be live for that game Tuesday.
Yeah, that's a fact. You are. So make sure you guys tune in, show up, show in. You know what I'm saying? Honestly, any closing thoughts for you guys before we head out? You know what I'm saying? Any
Chris Paul Dario over under?
Yeah, let's do what's what do we think Chris Paul's gonna do on his first game back, guys? I just want to know from your guys' perspective. So.
Like 6 passes to Dario in the first minute.
He's probably gonna be on he's probably gonna play like 15-20 minutes, something like that.
Yeah.
I say like 8 points, 10 assists. And yeah, that's about it.
Isn't it crazy? Chris Paul's about to come back and play more minutes than TJD's career high on his first game back. I don't know.
Yeah. Yep.
This is the point we're at, chat, where no matter how many strides we make to become better, and I actually think through this past month, I actually should be a lot more happy. But I know how much of this team can be better if they just actually make the correct adjustment.
What's the over under on Pat Spencer being guaranteed or given another 10-day? Just to see what he can do.
Over because he's a guard.
Tell that fun nigga to go play lacrosse, man. If it's been your boy KB, bro, make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe. You know what I'm saying? Gifted is currently holding that $180 you know what I'm saying, type shit. So
I don't even want to speak about this.
How much you pay for that before we go?
I'm not even gonna speak on that. Have a great.
I'm seeing colored LED, so I know it's like $240. But it's Bluetooth as well. That's an extra $100, so that's $340, right? So
it's a bundle. It's a bundle, you know.
Nigga said a bundle. Nigga dropped $5,000 on a mouse pad. This shit's crazy.
It just keeps going up every single time.
Listen, bro. Make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. Subscribe to the YouTube, bro. What are y'all doing? I know we can hit 100, bro. I know we can hit 100 subs. We're trying to hit that 100 sub goal, bro. So subscribe to the YouTube. There will be like little videos coming out, little segments about each of the topics that we talked about, along with the pod itself. So make sure y'all, like I said, like, comment, subscribe. I've been KB. He's been Double D Denver. He's been gifted X Blade hoops type shit. And yeah, man, we're out of here, bro. We'll catch y'all niggas tomorrow at 7 p.m.
Peace.